Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Our text for today is the Gospel just read, taken from St. Mark chapter 10. Family and marriage do not always work as we would like them to work. I know, a big revelation. But much like the rest of our lives, things in our family life and our homes, how we relate to one another, can bend, break, can be not what we want. The hardest and darkest of those things might be some of those dreaded D's, divorce and death. But any way you look at it, how we kind of live together, work together as families is a reflection, although sometimes a poor one, of what God has intended for the world. God, after all, created us to live and be in community, in family. All the way back to creation, we hear about how God created the world, gave the world over to Adam, and then set Adam up to name his community, to name his people. I've always thought that scene with Adam naming all of the animals seemed like an odd one to me. So I am going to make one just for you. Here you go, Adam. Here's the parade. Let's call that one a giraffe. Great, I like it. Not quite for me, though. On and on it went with all of the animals. He names them, he gives them a place in God's world, and yet that is not exactly what was intended. Until God created Eve. Now this is truly bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. This is how God intended us to be. Not solitary, but in family. But those things don't work as we want. Things break. My life is far more solitary than God's creation intended. Things are broken. It does not always come together. And even as we look and can understand that God built us and made us to be in community, in family with one another, it can also create in each of us a longing for what is just beyond our grasp. Even when everything is great and wonderful, there can be a recognition that I wonder what God's full plan is. What would this look like without sin? Well, God gives us a little picture of that, doesn't he? In His Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. The text says that Adam held fast to his wife. I've always kind of liked the older King James language of he cleaved to his wife. He clung to her so that they were one flesh. And yet Christ holds fast to his bride. You, his church, his people. He cleaves to you, holds fast to you, sacrifices for you, even gives his very life for you, so that you might live and be part of his family, his place, the church. Perhaps Hebrews put it best. For it was fitting that he, by whom and through whom all things exist, in bringing many to glory, should make the founder of their salvation perfect through suffering. For he who sanctifies and those who are sanctified all have one origin. Jesus Christ, beloved, sacrifices and gives himself over to you, his bride. Not once, not when he feels like it, not every so often, but again and again and again he does this. Because he loves you. Loves you with an everlasting love. A love that forgives. A love that always looks to the good. A love that longs to be in family, in community with all of his people, with the whole bride, with his church. This is why we call this supper the marriage feast of the Lamb that has no end. This is why when we gather together at the marriage feast of the Lamb, it is a continual picture and pointing for you and me that his love means he gives his love for you. That his sacrifice is not just when it is convenient. It is not the imperfect sacrifices that we make for one another, but that his sacrifice is complete. It does not stop. It is a sign again and again and again of his great love for you, his bride, the church. And so while we live and work here and we see in our lives a reflection of God's great love for us, he too continues to live and work in you and through you because of that great love which has no end. In Jesus' name, amen. And now the peace of God, which passes all understanding, keep your hearts and minds in true faith to life everlasting. Amen. We rise and confess.